We're going to talk a little bit about the trade deadline, but we're starting off with a hot question, and that is going to be, gentlemen, who is going to win the Stanley Cup?
Oh man,
That's how we're going to start today.
Oh man.
That's how we're going to start today. So I don't want you to be like, well, it's probably going to be, this person or this team, and because this team's this. I want, as of today, looking at how teams are playing as of right now, I want to know who you think has the best shot at the Stanley Cup. I will go first to give you guys time to think.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the standings. That's what I have up.
I have those open as well. My choice is the Florida Panthers. I think they're going to get their first Stanley Cup. They're currently second in the Atlantic. And they made it there last year, made it all the way to the Cup final, and then just got, they got ran over by a Vegas team that was not going to be stopped. So,
Yeah.
But yeah,
wasn't there like a Matthew Tkachuk with a broken?
He had a broken
sternum.
Yep. Which, if you don't know,
shoulder
is this bony bit right here.
That's still insane to me that he played in games with that injury.
I can't believe that you would be allowed to play with that, because if you take a shoulder to the chest, it's gonna cave in, and that's not good.
No, yeah,
something bad's gonna happen if your sternum caves in.
I'm still shocked that he was allowed to be back in that game.
Also, why do that, guys? Stop doing that. That could potentially lead to death.
Yeah.
Very, very, I guess if you look at hockey, especially with the skate blades, technically, there could be death.
That can
at any
moment, but you would almost certainly have a good chance.
It increases the odds for sure.
Yeah, Jesus. So a sternum fractureless Matt Tkachuk this time. Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
And they had some turnover too. They had a lot of they had a few people leave, and they just stayed on just as good. So.
Well, they seem to be they're obviously a much stronger team this year. They barely stumbled into the playoffs last year, and but the thing with them is they are a playoff style team. Everything they do is only going to be more allowed as soon as mid-April hits, and more effective.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad choice, because if they're built for it.
But listen, it all hinges on the man in between the pipes. If Bobrovsky plays the way he can, they'll have a good chance. If he switches to his alter ego, then it might not go as well.
It might, yeah.
It all depends on him. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Okay, that is a hot take to start off. Florida Panthers, I like that.
I don't know if it's that hot.
And listen, I don't want it to happen.
I think that's fair.
As a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, I could see
it pretty easily. Yeah, that would suck, wouldn't it?
Listen, we got to last year. I think I was at home visiting during one of the Stanley Cup final games, and my dad was cheering for the Panthers, and I was like, "What are you doing, you fake fan?"
We all know Vegas does have a lot of haters.
That's true. That's true. I was going for Vegas because I can't do the Panthers. No.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's interesting. If the playoffs started today, the Panthers would be playing Toronto.
Oh my God, we need it.
We want Florida.
We need a rematch of that. That'd be great.
Oh man. Honestly, look how shitty the Atlantic is, bro. Look at that. You either are playing Boston or the Panthers.
Mike, you know what's interesting? I just thought of this too. Back to your take real quick.
Yes.
Florida. So the man in the pipes is very important, because you have so Alex Lyon was a big reason the Panthers went on that little run at the end, and he is now on Detroit. So they don't even I don't even know who Florida's backup is. So it is very, very much.
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah. Is it Stolarz? Is it? No.
That was in my head. That was in my head, but I thought he was in Anaheim.
He was. I think he might have been with Anaheim for a while. Dostal is an Anaheim
Yes, that's the
goalie
guy.
this year.
That's the guy who's with Anaheim now. It's Gibson and Dostal.
Oh, all right.
But
Eric
with
is still stuck.
Florida,
Yeah.
we got
Well, I mean, but
Anthony Stolars. Yeah.
Shit, man.
There we go.
Good job, Eric.
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, you're right. Dang, yeah, goaltending more important than ever.
It is, yeah. But because if Bob goes down, like that's it. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's like if Vasi goes down.
Although we say that, but
playoffs.
then Vegas last year was Logan Thompson until Laurent Brossoit until Aiden Hill, and like.
And then
oh my God. I forgot about the Brossoit thing within that. That's wild.
Brossoit was a good chunk of the beginning of the playoffs. Then he got hurt, and then it had to be Hill the rest of the playoffs. So if your team's good enough and plays a good enough system in front of the guy,
it's true.
Sometimes a guy can just get hot, and that's enough.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
All right, Ben.
Yeah,
you want to go next?
I gotta hear one of yours so I can rip it apart.
I don't have any strong feelings about. You know what?
Here we go. Montreal Canadiens.
Yes. Yep. They're gonna go like 29-0 to finish the season, springboard back into a playoff spot, and just run the table.
Yep.
But more realistically, I am gonna say. I'm gonna say Winnipeg because Hellebuck.
Yeah.
Hellebuck, and also it's never the top team. It's hockey. It's always like the third or fourth team you think is gonna win it that wins it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm going with Winnipeg because all you need is a goalie, and they got some scoring to go along with it. And also, I would like to see Sean Monahan.
They're scoring.
I would like to see Sean Monahan win a cup, and also that would get us that extra third round pick because that was the condition.
All right, there you go. As always, dude, Benny brings it back to the Canadiens.
Dude, that was impressive. I was about to say that, but that was like it also was the perfect cherry on top of your point of the Winnipeg Jets are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
I respect that.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that pick. Because they actually don't have super strong scoring.
Yeah.
But because their team defense
enough.
And goaltending is so good, it's again it brings in the playoffs, scoring goes down in the playoffs. We all know it. So yeah, again they're probably going to thrive in the playoffs. So.
Plus, I like having Connor Hellebuck in net. That's
good too.
That's a good. If you're gonna have anybody back there, I think that's a good start.
Yep. What do you think about that, Eric?
I think that's fair. I'm going to be honest. I'm biased because I actually, when we did our playoff picks, Winnipeg was my sleeper team, and I was like, they're definitely going to sneak in there. They could definitely do some damage. So I can't really criticize that choice, Ben.
They haven't even snuck in either.
All right.
They just have fully gone in.
Yeah, fully gone. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so that leaves me.
Yep. So we have one team from the East, one team from the West.
Honestly, and I was thinking about this as you guys were listing your choices. When I think of a playoff team that also kind of has it in the regular season, it's the Dallas Stars for me. I think Dallas can do it. And I say this because you have Jake Ottinger. And Dallas's young players that they've drafted are just on fire. Like Wyatt Johnston. Thomas Harley is like one of the most underrated D-men in the league. I believe he's a defenseman.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think Dallas has that edge to them where they have young, like a young, speedy team in certain areas, but then they also have your veterans, like you have your Pavelskis,
and your sandpaper.
Jamie Ben. Jamie Ben, Tyler Seguin. I think they still have that good balance, and I think their defense can be more tenacious in the playoffs for sure.
Yep.
because playoff hockey, totally different. So I'd say Dallas is my team. Although I guess if Ottinger goes down, no offense to Scott Wedgwood, absolute legend, but I don't know if Scott Wedgwood
Stanley
could
Cup
lead them.
champion. Scott
Wedgwood. Yeah, that's true. That is
he
true.
really?
Yeah.
He won it with the Lightning in their first the 2020 one.
Oh, he was the backup that year.
Yeah.
He cheered for Vasilevsky, and because of his cheering, won the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Good for him.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest.
That was like that headline when somebody wrote former Lightning Stanley Cup champion waived by Habs, and it was Mitchell Stevens.
Yep. Yep.
Can we? What do you guys think about my pick? First off,
I think it's great.
It's good. Yeah, I could see Dallas doing it.
I think it's great because you didn't even mention the most important part.
What's that?
Which was, back from the grave, Matt Duchene.
Oh yeah.
Yes, as well. Oh my God, yeah. I'm sorry, Matt Duchene.
That line. What's that line? Is it him? Who is it? Is it him, Robertson, and Marchment?
Marchment's. Yeah,
because Marchment's there too.
I should know. They fucking filled in the Habs that game I went to.
Hintz, Marchment, and Duchene. No,
they just honestly have a stacked team, and I'm pretty sure we all had them in the playoffs, and I know a few of us had them like first in the Central, so we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I should have gone with the West team because the road through the Western Conference is going to be easier than the Eastern. It's just going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, the West is very have or have not.
Yeah.
That like they're either in that conference are either great or everybody below is just mid as hell or bad. Like the East, there's a much more of a spread. Although like nobody in the East, I feel, is like that strong, other than maybe the top two.
Nobody's showing that they're like on the Canucks level,
right?
But I was specifically referring to the physical part,
right?
Because like you look at these, like Vegas will mess you up a little bit. Colorado will probably mess you up. Maybe the Oilers, maybe. But other than that, like, there's no Panthers over there. There's no Boston over there. To an extent, like the Lightning, also similar.
Another team that might make it hard this year in the East, Philly, if they can hang, they're going to be a pain in the butt to play against physically. Yeah.
It's going to be a weird playoff situation this year.
Yeah,
that's true. Because like